Before the world came to know Johann Wolfgang von Goethe as a literary titan, his family imagined a very different future for him, a respectable legal career grounded in order, logic, and predictable advancement. His father, a man of civic ambition and strict expectations, pushed him firmly toward the study of law. Goethe obeyed, at least outwardly, enrolling first in Leipzig and later in Strasbourg. On paper, he should have become a model young jurist, educated, diligent, and well-positioned to enter public service. But from the start, something was fundamentally wrong. Every step he took into the legal world felt like a step into an airless, stifling chamber. What others saw as a stable profession, Goethe experienced as an intellectual prison. At university he studied jurisprudence, attended lectures, copied case law, and memorized procedural rules. Yet his notebooks filled with poetry, sketches, and natural observations rather than legal arguments. Instead of mastering statutes, he wandered into theaters, botanical gardens, and coffee houses. He listened to music, read philosophy, fell in love, studied alchemy, and dissected animals in secret. Law was something he tolerated only because his father demanded it. Even professors noticed that his mind drifted elsewhere. For Goethe, the emotional and imaginative richness of life overwhelmed the dry abstraction of legal studies. When he finally finished his degree and returned home, the true disaster began. His father proudly arranged for him to begin practicing law in Frankfurt, expecting him to become a capable advocate or civic official. Goethe tried to comply. He dressed formally, took his place at a desk, and attempted to handle real cases brought to him by real clients. Yet immediately, everything went wrong. The work felt unbearably tedious. The formal arguments, the repetitive petitions, the rigid structures of legal reasoning, each task drained him instead of engaging him. He struggled to maintain attention, lost track of procedural steps, and grew visibly frustrated. His early cases became infamous within the household. In one situation, Goethe's failure to file a document on time nearly ruined a client's chances. In another, he misjudged a legal strategy so badly that his father had to intervene to repair the damage. He had no sense of legal pacing, no patience for bureaucratic details, and no inner instinct for courtroom maneuvering. For someone with his intellect, these failures were not due to inability but to complete lack of interest. His imagination simply refused to bend to the demands of the profession. Goethe himself admitted later that he found legal reasoning emotionally and spiritually suffocating. The courtroom was a place where human conflict was reduced to technicalities, where living stories were flattened into numbered articles and brittle arguments. He missed the freedom of verse, the sensuality of color and shape, the excitement of scientific discovery. He disliked the sharp-edged competitiveness of lawyers and the combative nature of legal disputes. Every client brought anxiety, not purpose. Every case felt like a betrayal of his real nature. The contrast between Goethe's talents and his legal obligations grew clearer with each passing month. Even his father, strict as he was, began to recognize that something essential was misaligned. Despite Goethe's attempts to behave like a proper young advocate, his heart slipped constantly into artistic realms. In his free time, he wrote poems, drafted scenes, experimented with natural specimens, and pursued intellectual friendships. When he traveled to Strasbourg for further legal training, it was not the law that changed him but the encounter with Herder, whose ideas ignited Goethe's literary destiny. His legal duties, meanwhile, remained a burden he could neither escape nor fulfill properly. After returning from Strasbourg, Goethe tried once more to practice law. The results were so disastrous that even the city council considered him unreliable. He botched formalities, missed deadlines, and showed more interest in the emotional dynamics of cases than in the legal mechanisms behind them. Ultimately, he understood that persistence would only lead to deeper failure. The career his father had forced upon him simply did not belong to him. This spectacular failure turned out to be one of the great blessings of Goethe's life. Legal collapse liberated him. It shattered the path others laid before him and pushed him toward the path he was meant to follow. Out of frustration came clarity. He was not made for courtrooms, statutes, and procedural battles. He was made for stories, symbols, natural laws, psychological insight, and the vast imaginative landscapes that would eventually reshape European literature. Soon after abandoning legal practice, Goethe wrote Gott's von Berlichingen, a play that catapulted him into fame, and later The Sorrows of Young Werther, a work that electrified an entire generation. His father's dream of a lawyer evaporated, replaced by something far greater, a writer, scientist, thinker, and cultural force who changed the intellectual shape of Germany and Europe. Goethe's legal failures are therefore not a footnote but a crucial chapter of his formation. They reveal how deeply mismatched he was with the mechanistic world of law, and how necessary that clash was to push him into the creative realm where he truly belonged. His inability to thrive in courtrooms was not a flaw. It was the sign of a mind too alive for boundaries, too curious for rigid frameworks, and too imaginative for the narrow corridors of legal practice. His collapse as a lawyer became the foundation of his greatness.